Am I the a-hole for not attending my friend's wedding because her father-in-law are homophobes? My friend Kelly is getting married next Saturday. She asked myself and 3 other friends to be her bridesmaid, her sister as maid of honor. One of our friend Ellis is in a same-sex relationship. Kelly seems to have no issues with it since she asked Ellis to be her bridesmaid and invited Ellis's partner as a guest to the wedding. Well, last night Kelly texted Ellis and told her she's no longer a bridesmaid. She and her partner aren't welcome to the wedding. Ellis was confused and pressed for a reason. Turns out Kelly's father-in-laws are furious fucking gay sluts are attending their wedding. It's a sacred place and dirty hoes have no business being there. Ellis calls me earlier this morning while my boyfriend and I were sleeping. She was really upset and crying. I tried to comfort her the best I could, and we are meeting up for dinner later. So I called Kelly and asked, "What the heck is going on?" She tells me it's no big deal. She's only missing a plate of food, and she will make it up to her. She also has the nerve to tell me to ask Ellis to lend her the bridesmaid dress because she found someone to replace her. So it wouldn't look uneven at the wedding. It's such a hassle, and last minute, if everyone would just be normal, then this wouldn't happen. I pretty much lost it right there. I told her she's the shittiest piece of turd I have ever met. She's just all into looks, and I told her, I am not going to the wedding either, and hung up on her. My boyfriend heard this all go down and texted the groom, he's not going to be the best man either. My boyfriend also told his friends about what happened, and they are also not going to the wedding. The maid of honor calls me up and says I'm such a bee, that I ruined the wedding for Kelly, and I'm just starting shit up. I'm honestly glad I bowed out, but I'm left wondering if I should have just kept to myself than confront Kelly after the wedding. Our tight group thinks I did nothing wrong, but others said I shouldn't dictate who gets to go their wedding. Update. My BF is a huge Redditor and said I must make an update. He's a little jealous my post got me some shiny hardware. I told Ellis about this post and both of us have read every single reply. Thank you for all the kind words, encouragement, stories, and suggestions on how I could have handled it better. So yesterday was a huge turd show. The groom, Eric, came to the restaurant where we had dinner and apologized to Ellis. He also wanted to make a few things clear. He had no idea Kelly would go behind his back and tell Ellis and Anita, her partner, they aren't welcome to the wedding. And most importantly, his parents didn't say any of those things. His father made an offhand comment which translates to, "What's a good girl like Ellis doing with another woman?" His mother said, "Children these days thinks different. You antique cow shouldn't talk so much." Kelly took it upon herself to interpret that her future in-laws, Phils, sorry about the confusion y'all, meant they hated homosexuals. FALs weren't furious and never said Ellis and Anita aren't welcome to the wedding. Kelly and a few of us speak that dialect fluently. There's no way she didn't understand exactly what Eric's parents said. The wedding is called off as Eric wants to step back and think if Kelly is the right match for him. Anita tells us Kelly has been very passive-aggressive towards her and Ellis for the past few weeks. Anita said she thought it was the stress of the wedding, so Kelly was acting up. I think it's also because Anita and Ellis are getting married at the end of the year. We live in a country where gay marriage is non-existent. In fact, if you are LGBTQ, you as a person don't exist. Ellis and Anita have talked about going to Canada or Taiwan to get their marriage license and holding a mini banquet back in our country. Someone suggested we all go to Taiwan for a mini vacation, and they can have a small wedding there. We have been talking nonstop about this for the past month. TBH, we were talking about the vacation rather than the wedding since it's the first time most of us have traveled there. Kelly is probably jealous that Ellis upstaged her. Either way, Ellis and I feel incredibly guilty for how it all went down. We've known Kelly for over a decade and we don't want to see her go down in flames. It's a pity that a friendship had to end this way over a single day. Story 2. I broke up with a guy because his best friend is a female. So I started seeing this new guy, Beck, a couple weeks ago. I had known him for a while before we began dating. He is really sweet and awesome, and the first 3 dates we went on went amazingly, and I really enjoyed being with him. Here's the problem. He has a very close friend, Kim, who seems to constantly be in the picture. During date number 4, he talked about her a lot. Like a lot. She was somehow the topic of every conversation, and when I would try to change topics, he'd always find his way drifting back to a memory the two of them shared together. Granted, they grew up together, and also dated at some point, so it would make sense that they would have lots of memories and chemistry. He also began telling me the trip the two of them are planning to take, how they were taking her car, staying at her family's house, etc. I tried to ignore it at first and just let it go, because I too have a close friend of the opposite sex, but we never do anything like what they do. Our relationship is platonic, and the most we ever do is play Xbox together. I asked him to be my date to my brother's wedding since I had a +1. This was after about 2 weeks of dating, and he declined, saying he had already made plans on that day to go bowling with some friends. But after I spoke with a mutual friend of ours, I found out she was going to be there and that they had set it up together. I was thinking of it for a while, and the more I thought of it, the more it bugged me. So on our last date, I said I didn't want to pursue a relationship anymore. He was confused because I had been acting normal up until this point. He asked me why, and I told him. I said, "I'm sorry, but it makes me uncomfortable how close you are with Kim. You talk about her a lot, and she seems to be a big part of your life. And since we are not official and I would not try and tell you what to do, I'm just gonna walk away because it makes me uncomfortable." He did not take it well. Said I was giving him an ultimatum and trying to force him to choose, and that I was being manipulative. I insisted that I just wasn't okay with it and did not want to date someone who had that kind of relationship with someone who wasn't their girlfriend. We were not officially BFGF, and I felt that I needed to break things off early before shit hit the fan. Well, I got an Uber home because I didn't want him to drive me. He was fuming. And later that evening, I get a text from a number I don't recognize. Can you guess who it was? Yup, Kim. Kim texted me a paragraph about how Beck was crazy about me and she thinks I'm wrong for judging her when I haven't even met her, and how I hurt him and was being manipulative. I responded saying I did not judge her at all, just that the nature of their relationship did not sit well with me, and I wanted to end things before they got complicated. She responded saying that I need to give him another chance, and that maybe me and her should meet, so that I can see that she isn't a threat and we could even be friends. I didn't respond to her, and shortly after, his mom and my mom texted me, telling me I'm overreacting. It's amassed into a much bigger deal than I had thought it would be. I don't want to be with him, or even try again because of how dramatic I feel that everyone is being. I've repeatedly been accused of being insecure, among other things, and I literally cannot believe that it's blown up like this. I'm not an insecure person. I just got a really bad vibe from the situation, and didn't want to be a part of it. Am I wrong for this? Should I give him another chance? Should I talk to this girl? Now for the update. I did not respond to Kim, but instead explained things to my mom, and she sided with me completely. She told me that Beck had called his mom, who is a former coach of mine, and told her that I yelled at him and tried to manipulate him because I was feeling insecure. He said that I broke up with him when he wouldn't do as I said, and she presumably contacted my mom afterwards. As you will see from my post, this was not true. I told my mom this and described the situation. She understood how I felt and why I left him, and said that he sounded like a prick, and she was happy I didn't bring him to my brother's party for his wedding. I blocked Kim's number and did my best to gently explain to his mom what really had happened, understanding the whole time she'd probably believe her son over me. But surprisingly, she didn't. She did say that he genuinely cared about me, and evidently I was a hot topic of conversation for a while before all of this. Said he was crazy about me and was excited to see where our relationship would go. While she admitted her son was immature at times, but meant well. She was very nice about all of this, so I really appreciated that. I was genuine and understanding. I said that while I understood, I couldn't just ignore the red flags presented to me, and since nothing has changed other than him trying to have other people convince me it's fine, well, then I made the right decision. She said she understood, and that was the end of it, with her at least. The worst with Kim did not end until I almost had to quit my DoorDash job. It's not with DoorDash, but for the sake of anonymity, I primarily deliver to elderly or families with children, but as I was unloading groceries out front of a house who had only ordered bread, cheese, and bacon, I was a little confused but mostly just horrified when I realized who it was. Kim had ordered from my line and gotten me to deliver to her house. She somehow found out I was working in her area. I didn't know it was her area, and I guess she did her best to get a hold of me. So yeah, I met her. Not by choice, but I did. She ordered from her mother's name, I'm guessing, because it wasn't a Kim who had ordered. She immediately began questioning me about if I was still talking to Beck, if we were going to get back together, if I had gotten over myself yet. However, her expression told me she already knew, but was just trying to annoy me in every way possible. Just in general, being an absolute bitch. I was polite at first until she asked me about getting over myself, to which I said, off of Reddit's advice, so it's really your guy's fault, LOL, if she had gotten over the fact that her boyfriend got dumped. She didn't take that well, and didn't take the bag of bacon I was trying to give her. Fine by me, because legally, if a customer declines a product you bring them, you refund them and keep whatever it is, since you usually can't return a food item. So I'm eating some crispy, yummy freedom bacon as I type. I left and it's been pretty quiet. I have a new date to my brother's wedding party thing, and he is definitely just a friend, but Beck and Kim don't know that, so I'm gonna be posting lots of pictures and dancing with him all night. We've both planned on this BTW and he knows everything, so it's even funnier that way. Beck has been stalking my social media, unliking and then liking posts. He even reported a picture of mine that had me and another male in it. He'll probably be like this for a little while longer and then drop everything, but it's kind of funny to watch. I'm moving on, and overall am single and happy.